I went from living in an RV in a junkyard to helping coach couples build wealth. This isn't a rags to riches story, it's a failure to wisdom story. And if you've ever felt like you were stuck with debts, had no savings, or like you just couldn't get ahead, then this story may very well change your financial future. I was living in that junkyard because my dad was financially responsible. So I didn't get a financial education, I got a streets education. I was surrounded by my dad's friends who were gang members, drug dealers, people doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And even though I was able to stay out of trouble and, get ahead myself, I had a really bad foundation when it came to my finances. And ultimately, I ended up picking up more bad habits than I thought I would. By 13, I was making my own life decisions, and people would joke around that my dad was the kid and I was the parent because I would help keep him out of trouble and help him stay in line. But ultimately, I spent most of my early young life and adulthood running away from something, trying not to be like my dad instead of running towards something, and that ended up backfiring a lot. That mindset ended up keeping me stuck until I learned 3 things that helped me turn it around. By the time I hit my mid-20s, I had made every mistake you can possibly make. I was using payday loans, which are very expensive with the interest, because I was overspending every single week. I was maxing out every single credit card that I could and still applying for more even though they were maxing out. I was living off of my student loans instead of working full-time and, doing that type of grind. And then I was also having unplanned business expenses that just drained all my extra cash and really didn't go anywhere. In hindsight, that was the example that was set up for me, and the only thing that I knew about finances. Every time my dad got paid, we would go to the places where he owed money. We would go to the liquor store, for example, and he would owe like half of his check in just, alcohol, chips, junk food, whatever it was. So every time he got paid, we went there, we paid up his debts, and then we started a new debt, essentially. And even to this day, he still does the same thing. He gets Social Security now. When he gets his money, he's negative every single month. So the money he gets from Social Security just balances him out to zero. And that's just no way to live. I also found that a lot of the money that I was spending just came from depression and not having any direction in my life. Earlier in life, I was very motivated to not end up like my dad, and I applied myself in school as much as I could. I went to college to get a degree so that I can get a good job, but ultimately in that mid-20s era, I found that I had accomplished all that I had set out for, and there was really nothing else left for me. By the end of my 20s, I had my car repossessed, I stopped paying on all my credit cards, I had no way of being able to pay off my student loans, and essentially I decided that I was going to start from scratch. So they took my car, I quit my job because I didn't like the job. I stuck with the job that I had because that was the only way I could pay the minimum payments on all of the debt that I had racked up. So I ended up letting that all go, and I quit that job, and I took a part-time job as a valet, and I actually had to ride my bike to work because I had no mode of transportation. I think I did that for almost 6 months while I took a step back and figured out what I really wanted for my life. And part of figuring out what I wanted for my life was, getting the foundations in place, because I don't think money is the most important thing in the world until you don't have enough, right? That's what most people come to realize. So I knew that I needed to make enough money to support the lifestyle that I wanted, but ultimately I didn't want to get stuck in a situation where my obligations were controlling my life instead of me being able to choose the things that I wanted to choose. So instead of, getting another car payment and, even getting a nicer car that was more expensive, I just ended up saving up cash and buying something that got me from point A to point B. Because ultimately for me, all I did was use my car to get to and from work. And occasionally I would go out. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I personally am not a car person, so that type of expense wasn't really important to me, which allowed me to allocate, my money into other areas that were more important to me, like some of my hobbies. I like playing card games. Some of those card games are very expensive. I like to eat, so I'm willing to spend, a few $100s going out to eat once or twice a month, and that's okay because, that's not a set expense. If I need to cut back the following month for whatever reason, I was able to, and I'm still able to, have that extra cash that's not locked up in a fixed expense that's not really important to me. Eventually, I liked the valet job that I took part-time after I quit and let everything go. And I worked my way up through that job because my mindset was like, we have to work. And if I have to work, I might as well as make as much money as possible as I can during those working hours. So instead of just sitting at with whatever job and pay that I have, my mindset was to always improve and make more money, essentially. So during that time that I took that part-time valet job, I was making friends with the managers, learning as much as I could about the operations itself and trying to get good as a valet. And then ultimately I was promoted, a few years later to an operations manager. And with that company, I think I managed well over 13 properties that they had had with, millions of dollars of revenue coming in and handling employees for each of the properties. And I learned a lot throughout that experience. Each of those properties that I was running actually handled themselves like a small business. So the manager, whoever's in charge of the property, would handle all of those expenses, do a lot of the hiring, and manage the client contract with the revenue. So we had a different contract at each property. So I had to manage the finances according to the property. And of course, they all had to be cash flow positive. The company that I was working for, they wouldn't accept losing money on a property unless there was really, really good reason. And it was only for a short period of time where that would be acceptable. So I had a lot of responsibilities, but I also learned so much more about finances. And during that time, I was also working on my personal finances, which personal finances are significantly easier than operating a business expense because you're the person that's in charge of your money. And, there's not as much things going on as like labor, insurances, vehicle claims, right? If we crashed a car or somebody hit a car, we had to pay those out, the employees, potential lawsuits, etc. So personal finances is a lot easier than handling the operations expenses that I was handling. However, that was only easier with the numbers. It wasn't necessarily easier emotionally. And I think that's where I messed up a lot in my earlier years. So here are the 3 steps that I took to dig myself out of that hole and actually be able to get ahead financially. The very first thing that I did was I started tracking every expense like a madman. So when I first started that valet job, I was getting my hourly pay and I was also getting tips. And a lot of my coworkers and, the example that I had set for me from my dad was when you had cash, you spent it. So every time I had that cash, I tracked every single dollar. I had a full spreadsheet where if I knew exactly how much tips I was making every single week, and I could actually average it out monthly because over time the tips, balance themselves out. If I got a lot of tips one day or a little bit of tips one day, over the course of a month, everything would balance out. So I tracked every single dollar and I tracked every single purchase that I was making. And just by tracking the purchases, I was able to consciously and subconsciously start changing the way my habits worked when it came to spending my money. Before, if I wasn't thinking about it, I was just buying stuff and I didn't really evaluate whether that expense was worth it or not. I was just spending my money. So over the course of doing this every single day for weeks and maybe even a few months, I was able to get a hold of my finances just by doing that and changing my habits without throwing, an extravagant budget at it or trying to stick to like, this is my numbers, this is what I'm going to do. I just slowly started changing what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. And then ultimately that made the process easier rather than me trying to change my spending habits overnight. The second step that I took was spending and saving in line with my values. So I started to realize that if I was making, let's say, $20 an hour and I went out with my friends at night and I spent $100, that was essentially 5 hours of my life that I was trading for that night out with my friends. And yeah, a lot of times it could be worth it, but there was also a lot of times where I was just dropping $100 on stuff that I don't even remember what they are. So I can't even give you a good example, but I do know that I started to realize that, hey, I'm making this set amount of money and then I'm spending this money and these dollars are actually equaling hours of my life. So, the next time I was going to spend an extra $5 at the vending machine, for example, I was thinking like, is this worth 15 minutes of my life? Because yeah, $5 is a little bit of amounts, but ultimately those little amounts add up over time and they can really catch up to you. The other thing is I decided to, from a value standpoint, really figure out, what I wanted for my life and the person that I wanted to become and the type of lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I knew ultimately for me that I wanted to be more frugal with my expenses, especially right now while I had, no family, no girlfriend, no real obligations, no kids or anything. So I could, change my priorities on how I was spending my money. And then even to the point where, I started having the wife, the kids, I would still want to carry that type of lifestyle, that's frugal lifestyle over because that's just the way I like to live. I don't personally like having a lot of set expenses if I don't have to. Like for the car example, again, I like cars that's going to help me save on gas money because I don't like spending money on gas. So I choose hybrids if I can choose a hybrid. Maybe later on, once I have kids and a family, I'm going to want something that's prioritizing more safety than anything. So if I'm going to prioritize safety, I'm still going to want a frugal type of vehicle and something that's, in line with the amount of money that I make. But ultimately, I'm not going to want to go lavish unless I'm completely balling. And then if I'm balling, hey, you know what? G-Wagon, here we come. But really figuring out what type of lifestyle that I wanted to live and really what I want for my future helped me make decisions a lot easier, because I knew that I didn't want to throw away money on stuff that didn't matter to me. That made it so much more easier to say no to those things that were distracting me from my goals, and then say yes to the things that helped me get ahead, like setting aside income to invest in my future. I went from overspending probably, 120 to 150% of my income every single month to being able to save 20 to 40% of my income and invest in, my future essentially. I also knew that I didn't want money to be a huge restrictor for me. So I prioritized first building up an emergency fund, because I don't want to have to stress about, expenses that come up. And I don't want to have to feel obligated to not call out from work because I have expenses, I have to meet my expenses, and I can't miss a paycheck and I can't miss a single hour when an emergency comes up. I remember asking a friend one time to ditch work so that way we can go out. I think we're going to go to like Universal Studios or something like that. And he laid it out for me. Like, if I miss 8 hours, that's $300 and something that I'm missing for an entire day, plus the expense of going to Universal, paying for the ticket, paying for the parking, paying for food, I'm losing out on X amount of dollars. And while that is very valid, because, it's just Universal Studios, it really got me thinking of like, hey, well, what if he had an emergency? He still couldn't afford the emergency because of everything that he laid out, because he had no buffer essentially. And it got me thinking, well, like, what happens when I have an emergency? It's going to be the same thing. Like, I'm going to have to balance and prioritize catching up essentially, or instead of trying to get ahead. So at that point, I decided I was going to always have at least 3 months emergency fund ready and available. So when something pops up, I don't have to worry about it. I had $3,000 dental procedure done last year, and I didn't even bat an eye at it. As soon as, the dentist told me what was going on with my teeth and what could potentially happen, so I don't want to lose my teeth. There's family members that I have that have lost their teeth, so I just don't want that for myself. I didn't really need to think about it. I was like, okay, this is what needs to get done. I have the money. Let's swipe it. Let's go. And let's get my teeth taken care of. And then I didn't even have to worry too much about recreating that buffer, because I already set it in my income and the way that I handle my expenses and allocate my budget to where that emergency fund is always growing, or I have, a sinking fund that I throw money into. So it wasn't a big deal. That's a really powerful place to be at in life, to where money isn't ruling your life. If I had an emergency that popped up and I needed to call off from work, I still had that buffer even after that $3,000 dental appointment that I had, to where I could call off if I needed to do whatever popped up that was an actual emergency without having to worry, or even worry if I had sick pay available. The third step that I took was avoiding lifestyle creep, which is essentially if you start making more money, you start spending more money. And a lot of times when we do this, it comes down to those long-term obligations like the car upgrade, the house upgrade, maybe new expensive toys that are going on credit instead of spending the money that we actually have. So from that point, I decided that when I get a raise, instead of doing lifestyle creep, I was going to do, future investment creep. I was going to add more money to my emergency fund before I started spending more. I was going to put more away towards my long-term investments and investing in myself rather than upgrading my car, essentially, up until the point to where I was satisfied with my income and I had the foundations first. Because if you have the proper foundations, everything that goes on top is being held up properly, rather than, you start making more money and at the same time you're just increasing what you spend. So sometimes it's not even worth it if you're taking on like a harder job for more income, and then all you're getting out of it is a nicer ride to work. In my opinion, that doesn't really matter. And it's not even making the harder job more worth it. But if you're able to, unless the car is really important to you. But for myself, I knew that I wanted to really invest in my future. And I do want to say that when I first started this, tracking like a madman, evaluating my values and avoiding lifestyle creep, I had a period of time where I was over obsessive and money still ruled my life. I made the mistake of, trying to get ahead financially and putting that ahead of growing my relationships essentially, and investing time into some of that money that I was making into experiences. So I was working more hours to save to get ahead. And I feel like I missed out on a few years of my life with creating experiences. For me, ultimately, we have to work, we have to make money. I want that money to be used to enhance my lifestyle and make me happier and not trap me. And essentially what those 3 steps have done for me now is to be able to pay off my credit cards, invest 20 to 40% of my income towards my future, and ultimately just have peace of mind, which I think is what most people are looking for when it comes to their finances. And over the years, I've actually been helping coach people to do a similar process to what I'm doing and actually invest towards their retirement. One of my first clients was actually one of my friends, and he had a same situation like myself where he really did not have the best financial situation, financial examples of growing up on how to handle money, let alone any example on how to handle life in general. But because I sat down with him, showed him what I was learning and the company that I was working with, we put together a plan for him, and he's actually been saving and investing money towards his future, which no one else in his family is doing or has ever done to this point. So if you want help getting out of debt, managing your cash flow, and building wealth for a lifestyle that you actually want, not what someone else told you should want, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel because I got so much value coming your way. All right, Johnny out.